Hey, what's up? It's another new unboxing, and finally got this in. As soon as this thing was announced, I jumped on it and it was sold out. But I put my name on the waiting list, and I got a notification. I went, it was sold out. I put my name and my email into the notification again. I got a notification a little bit later, a couple minutes, or like probably an hour or whatever it was. You know, I still missed it, and then I just decided I'm just gonna keep the web browser page open and keep refreshing it until I see either that I'm not gonna stop doing it until I see that there's a buy button available. It's not grayed out or it's showing sold out. And this is, according to the title of this video, you should know by now. This is the new Rolling Blazers collaboration with Seiko, or is it the other way around? Seiko by Rolling Blazers. Yeah, it's with another watch that's put together within, I guess, between Rolling Blazers and Eric Wynn. And yeah, these are a new set. The previous one from last year, when it was 2022, I think this got announced late October. Should have been just before Halloween, but right now it's early November. Took a couple weeks for it to kind of come through, but it did. And yeah, as soon as I saw it was available, quickly hit it. Just a quick purchase to make sure I could snag one of these. And yeah, so this one is based on the Seiko 5 Sports, the smaller, like what they call the Dress KX. And so there's no rotating bezel, it's smooth. It's also downsized to 40 millimeters, but other than that, the case wise, it's very much like a SKX or 5KX, if you call it that now. So it's part of the, Seiko 5 Sports line, as I mentioned. And yeah, there were four colors available. A bright orange, a bright blue, a bright green dials, and a black one, but it had like I don't know, I wouldn't exactly call it rainbow colors, but it did have a lot of colors on the indexes instead. And I think that was the one to go for. I wanted something not so overly bright as a whole dial, but we'll see here. And I just think I don't know, I've never been into like super colorful things in the past, but recently, maybe within the last few years, getting into the hobby, I started to open up to just adding some more splashes of color or colors to my watches. And yeah, and I'll get into more of that when I do a review of this. And these do retail for about $4.95, which is actually not too bad, considering I think on average the Seiko 5 Sports are kind of around that price range, maybe a little bit less, depending on where you shop from. But this specific model is the SRPJ63, and so box is pretty inconspicuous, pretty plain, nothing special. But this is definitely something different. And this is like a metal tin or something. It's a metal case, which is kind of cool. And it's in like dark blue and this maroon color with this I call this a Charlie Brown pattern, and I guess you can consider this like an evil Charlie Brown color scheme because it's not yellow and black, it's dark blue and red. But anyway, so kind of cool. So already got a not so ordinary packaging. And let's see, let's get this on the side. And actually I did unbox this before because I have some time. I just figured, what the heck, before I do this, I'm just going to size this sucker and set the time and have it ready to go. So because I don't have a wristwatch check today, because this is going to go on, so I can start wearing this now, or rather tomorrow, but I'll probably wear it starting tonight and then into tomorrow. We'll get into that later. And here's the watch. And yeah, the cushions may be a little bit different too. The material, it's foam padded. There's nothing really inside here as far as I'm aware. I can open this and see, but I doubt it. And yeah, I already removed some of the links and sized it. Here's the hang tag again. Reference SRPJ63. And here we go. Let's get a better look here. So, yeah, I really like the use of the colors here. You know, I don't think they're actually, they look like little flags, like something that you can imagine seeing on like a yacht or some sort of nautical theme. But it's not, but it kind of looks like it, and considering the brand and the style, you know, it's these, what do they always say, they call it a preppy kind of streetwear. And I guess part of the preppiness comes with like rowboating, and I imagine yachts and something like that. That's an expensive, rather expensive sport usually when you're talking about that kind of stuff, sailing. And you can see here, it's pretty nice. It's got like a slightly domed crystal. I don't know if they all had this before. I had a Seiko 5 before, like a Dress KX in the olive drab kind of dial. And I should have had some images or videos and maybe even a review up a while ago. That was probably at least a year, maybe 2 years ago. Was it that long? But yeah, I didn't keep it too long. I just I thought the color would do something for me, but it didn't ultimately, because I wanted the Willard with the green, that olive drab color, but I didn't feel like spending as much for that at the time. And I figured, well, I can get maybe a similar look with the Dress KX, but anyways, it just didn't match up, and I ended up getting that Willard anyways. As you may know by now, if you've seen my videos on that, the SBDC 111, if that's the correct reference number. But here we go. Yeah, so the dial is actually, gosh, it's so reflective. I don't think it's matte. I think it's actually a glossy black dial. It's just like a really deep, sorry for going off camera, it's a really deep inky black color. If I pull back here, let me zoom in a little bit more, because the lighting's a bit better out here. You can kind of see, yeah, there's no like, you know, if it was matte, it was almost, once it hits the reflections, the highlights probably flatten out, maybe even look a little grayish, and it's not doing that. It's pretty deep, which is nice. I think it works for this. You got the nice kind of like, it's not candy stripe, but the red and alternating red and white running seconds hands there. I think they have this on one of the, at least one of their other models from the previous year, with the larger, you know, Seiko 5 Sports with the rotating bezel. The crown is signed, and it's 40 millimeters. I'm not going to have the exact dimensions, but it works like any other Dress KX if you've seen those, and they've been out for a while, so just keep that in mind. And I'll go over the specs in more detail when I actually do a review. Date 8, it has kanji, so right now I just switched over. I had it on the Friday kanji, and so usually once it flips over, it'll go into the English, and a couple hours later it'll finally switch back, change over to the kanji version of Saturday. Yeah, and you got this pretty cool, it's different. You got a frame date window, but it's actually, it's not straight. You can see it's actually kind of angular, like it has an apex right at the middle, you know, so it kind of goes up a little bit. So that's a little bit different. You can sort of see that. And actually all the indexes are actually loomed right at the very edge, like on the outside. Those little rectangular pieces right there, you can kind of make it out. And as you can see, it's actually not necessarily all evenly applied. You can see some sort of just some unevenness in the surface, a little bit of dimpling on that guy, but from this you're not going to see it. And actually, if you think about it, some of the indexes are a little bit not like 100% perfectly even or clean either, if you really look at them. And so I don't mind really, just because this is all kind of fun, and so it should be kind of loose and a bit unrestrained anyways. And for that reason it can be a bit more lax in its presentation here, its image, and this actually kind of makes it feel a little bit more, I think, vintagey, because some of the older applied like loom and stuff wasn't necessarily as perfectly uniform and clean and all that. So like sterile, not sterile, but very clinical, I guess, in this application, as like what you would see more and more modern, much more refined modern watches. So that's fine with me. It's, it just gives it a little bit more character, and you can probably bet that not one of these will be exactly identical to, other than the same model. They'll probably have some ever so slightly variances because of that, but that's okay. And I didn't mention it before, that this design, well, not necessarily all these colors, but if you see the other ones, especially the bright orange dial, the indexes are just where it's colored. It's just like a silver. I forget if it's brushed or high polish, but yeah, instead of the colors, they would have those in there, so it would be more square looking in a way. And it was based on an old vintage, I believe it's from Eric Wynn's collection or something. He has a vintage Seiko diver. I don't know the exact reference, but if you look up some videos when this was first announced a few weeks ago, a couple weeks ago, it's at least 2 weeks ago, sometime in late October. I think it was the week before Halloween, but anyways, or maybe it was on that week, but anyways, you'll probably find a video where he mentions the inspiration, and you can see that it looks like kind of like this setup, and there would be I believe it was an internal rotating bezel, so that's what they're trying to imitate here. They kind of have like a loom pip sort of thing, and that's interesting though, because I don't recall Seiko ever doing a loomed rehaut or a chapter ring like that, and that part of it right at the top is actually loomed, and I'll quickly show you a loom shot later. Again, this is signed, pretty standard class. It is, you can see the line on some of these. It is basically a fold over, but they try to polish it out, but you can definitely kind of make it out there. No big deal. I'm not really expecting much hollow end links. This is a Seiko 5, so if it's Pro Specs, maybe expect a bit more higher build, but it actually, it's actually kind of thick and doesn't feel like light really, or too cheap rather. It's actually pretty decent for what it is. I'm not mad or upset. Very basic class. Only 2 micro adjusts though, so, and you don't get any half links. And these are just friction pins. You can see by the arrows, and kind of actually like splits, split pins. Real easy to size, real quick. And yeah, only 2. So, but I was able to get a good fit on this. So let me back this up a little bit. On my wrist, which is 7 inches or just under, like 6.9, this works just fine. Let me zoom in. And for 40 millimeters, I think, the Seiko generally wear a little bit smaller. So I'd say This actually feels and visually looks a little bit more like a 39 in a way, but then again, it has no bezel, so it kind of opens up. But for me, it does feel a little bit smaller than a 40 on wrist, which is fine. I think this is going to be cool, like fun. Well, every watch is an everyday watch for me, but you know what I mean, it could be an everyday thing. If this is like your one or main timepiece, you don't need a rotating bezel, you just need date, day, and you know, 3 hands, and that's it. 100 meters, water resist, not screw down. But you know, Seiko, I always say that Seiko's been in the, you know, making dive watches for so long, and they know what they're doing, so the water resistance will hold up. And this crown is pretty well protected, and that's the only thing. It's not a pull out, so you got to wind it like this. And even when you set it, these crown guards kind of get in the way. So I mean, so they kind of do the job of not allowing you to mess with the crown too much. But when you initially set it, it can be a little bit limiting in your range of motion because of these. But you get used to it, and you work around it or with it. Oh, so we're gonna go and just pull this out, and I'll just see. No, I didn't think there was anything underneath here, but just checking. And it comes with a NATO strap too, which is cool. I think all the other ones also come on the bracelet as far as a matching NATO strap, although the NATO straps are not the same color as the dial. They're like some other color that's like somehow complementary. So you can imagine this on here. It matches all the colors on that, which is yellow, red, green, black, well, obviously black, pink. There's a, I believe that's a brown, unless it's a really burnt orange. But to my eyes, sorry, I'm off camera. To my eyes, it looks more brown to me. And that's what's kind of showing up here as to me. But yeah, actually everything matches up pretty good. So this you know, you want to splash a little color. This is cool, and this could work with so many straps because of that. You have just enough colors here to be able to accent. So you can do a black and yellow, something with blue, even a pink strap, brown. You can do a leather strap, which would look pretty nice on this. Even if you can go green. So this is, you know, initially some people, I think I can imagine thinking that something so rainbow color or so multicolored might be hard to match, but in fact I think since you got a little bit of almost most you know, a good variety of accent colors here, it can pretty much go with anything. And yeah, it was nice and slim, and I think this would be pretty cool. Double branded. Oh, I didn't show the case back, did I? I think that's what I forgot. So you can see here's the display, as most Seiko 5s will be, and this has the limited edition on the outside here. You can kind of read that right there. It's upside down, but you can make that out. And then on the other side should be the limited edition number of this. So these are, I believe, each colorway. This, the other 3 dials are limited to 888 pieces. It shows it right there. This is number 861 out of 888. And so that's a relatively low number, you know, right under 1,000, especially for a brand like Seiko. It's pretty small. And so that's good, and it's actually numbered, and you know, these had no problem selling out like within minutes, if not hours, probably hours, because I think they were slowly trickling in the stock. So they let some sell out, and then they kind of let them in, let people know that there's, you know, who signed up for the notification have a chance to get them. So then I think they were trying to avoid having them absolutely completely sell out at the very beginning. I think they wanted to give people a chance to slowly get some, and so not whoever's in the front of the line hog up the inventory and mess it up for everybody else. But they did still sell out pretty fast. and I believe that this black one was the first one to go. But this is the one I really wanted, so I was glad that I kind of stuck through and just, you know, just kept refreshing the page, and finally it was available, and I said, okay, I gotta, like, don't mess around, just buy it. And is it fear of missing out? Yeah, a little bit, sure. But yeah, I thought this, once I saw this, it's like, this looks cool. I like the colors. It works, and the other colors are cool, but for me, this is the way to go. I just felt like, you know, having those bright, you know, orange, blue, especially, and like it's kind of a coral or red color. I think it's a red color. No, green. Sorry, green. You know, it feels a little bit too. Not that it's necessarily a bad thing, but a little too on trend with, like, I would say, the start with the Rolex OPs in those bright colors, Tiffany dial and coral red and yellow, which it's a mania for those things, which is funny for a very entry level Rolex, but you know, it is what it is. And then Omega did something with the Aquaterras, right? And I believe Zin had some colors too, as well as Oris. They started doing, you know, the bright solid colors on the dial. So, and you know, obviously I believe that the other three versions are kind of like that, so I didn't want to go with that. And I don't know, I just like the way these look like little flags on the dial, which go with the kind of a bit of the theme for the brand, you know, identity. Yep. So unless there's something else, I don't think I showed this in good detail yet. Sorry, I kept forgetting. I kept talking about something else. And here is, I guess, a logo. It's a skeleton. I forget the story behind this. And it says Tempest. Bucket? Bucket? I don't know my Latin. Assume that is Latin down there. I should translate that before I put this on, but I don't know. I'll go look it up later, and then I'll define or translate this when I do the review later. Or maybe if I put up some other smaller video just to quickly talk about it. Most likely when the full review video hits. Yeah, it kind of, in some ways it's pointless, almost pointless to do a review on a watch that's no longer basically available. But it's likely you'll even, you know, you'll probably see these being sold secondhand for a crazy price. I know the previous ones did. I don't know. I don't really subscribe to doing that. But yeah. But if I do sell it, I'm not asking, like some people, they ask for some crazy numbers for certain watches, like a couple grand. It's like, yeah, I don't think so. I'm not going to pay that much. I don't like it that much. And yeah, I don't think you really should have to pay a premium. You can avoid it, but likely people will charge one on these because they're so hot and popular, and people like them. And so as long as you're comfortable, I guess, paying up to a certain limit, but not go too crazy, then it might be worth it. Otherwise, you know, for roughly a sub $500 watch, at least that's what it started out as, to just under $495. Yeah, I don't know, is it worth double the price? Some Seikos come double the price anyways, and they may not necessarily be worth it, but if you like it enough, I guess it will be. Anyways, rambling enough. I wanted to keep this short too, but that's just how it goes. I'll just close out with a small, quick blast. The loom is actually pretty good, and it should be, it's Seiko loom. And let's see if I can just bump down here so you can see it better. Yeah, see? Not too bad. pretty legible. I mean, you got the break in the indexes at the date to help you orientate, and especially that loon bezel, or sorry, the loon rehot or chapter ring up at the top right there. That's cool. I like that. You know, they don't usually, if ever, do that. I don't remember Seiko ever looming putting any loom up there before, so I think that's kind of different. Anyways, you'll be sure to see this in some more posts in my YouTube as well as Facebook and groups, and of course my Instagram at ChronoCraze. And should be able to have some fun with the strap options on this one. So thanks for watching, and yeah, catch you in some more videos later. Thanks.